who it is. Here's Sergio Sanchez.
It's another KURV special edition. Today's topic is Opening Texas. I'm Sergio Sanchez, along with the Drive Home crew, Roxanne Flores, Davis Rankin, and Zach Cantu. And you can join us at 710 KURV Facebook Live as well. A very, very big thank you to our panelists today. We're going to try to open up Texas, do so effectively, do that safely, as well as Steve Alanius, president of the McAllen Chamber of Commerce, as well as Mike Gonzalez from Workforce Solutions, a dear friend of mine, Joanne Gama from Idea Public Schools. She is the new leader of Idea Public Schools, and Dr. James Castillo. He's the Cameron County Health Authority. If you have any questions for our participants today or for the panel, please email me. Do not call the studio. Just email me. I'll keep fishing on my smartphone, and I'll try to find the best questions this afternoon. My email, it's really easy. Sergio, Sergio at KURV.com. Sergio at KURV.com. And a big thank you to the folks who make this broadcast possible today. That's Simmer Technology Hospital Grade Air from our friends at Esparza Pest Control. Call 316-0000. And Lone Star National Bank, big supporters of KURV. They were with us during the big broadcast a few weeks back during the KURV special edition. Lone Star National Bank, the Valley's bank, proud supporter of RGB businesses, payroll protection, and a capital acquisition. Let me pitch to Roxanne Flores, our show host from the Drive Home. She's got the first question for our panelists.
First of all, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you who took the time out of your busy schedule to join us. And my first question is to Dr. James Castillo. It's so good to put a face to the voice that we talk to all the time on this show. So thank you, Dr. James Castillo, for joining us. We appreciate it. All right. So first question to you, Dr. Castillo, is people still like to compare COVID-19 to the flu. Would you be able to explain why they're so different?
This COVID-19 has been an extreme challenge. What it does to the vulnerable population is beyond anything I've ever seen. We've had outbreaks of the flu in a nursing home before, and it doesn't result in 20% of the patients dying. That doesn't happen with the flu. It just doesn't. A lot of the numbers we see about the flu, that we talk about every year are estimates. Counting deaths from the flu is very challenging. It's very difficult to determine exactly how a person dies. So a lot of what we see from the CDC every year are estimates. What we're seeing with COVID is we're trying to be as accurate as we can with the counts, but the flu does not result in deaths like we're seeing with this illness. Even in younger people, it's magnitudes more deadly than the flu.
Is it still more contagious? So we know it's deadlier. It's also more contagious than the flu, correct?
It's more contagious because we don't have a vaccine. Nobody's immune system has ever seen this virus before. Versus the flu, it changes every year, but you still might have some immunity to it. The other big difference is we don't have a treatment for it. So you have people who are asymptomatic spreading it. You have nobody with immunity. It spreads in a similar way as the flu, but unlike the flu, if you get exposed to this virus, you have a really high chance of catching it.
You just brought up a vaccine right now. With the way things are going with vaccine trials, do you think it's possible that we could have a COVID-19 vaccine by the end of the year?
I certainly hope so, but that's going to take like a major leap forward in vaccine technology. I think we do have a bit of a head start on it because of the work that was done on the other coronavirus, the SARS coronavirus. But it's still a new vaccine. There's never been a vaccine for a coronavirus before. Unlike the flu, where we have the vaccine for the flu, they can modify it every year. This is from the start, but at least we have a bit of a head start. So I'm hoping that would be wonderful by the end of the year, but I would hope by at least middle of next year.
That's Dr. James Castillo, one of our panelists today. Dr. James Castillo is Cameron County Health Authority. Joanne Gama from Idea Public Schools. Mike Gonzalez from Workforce Solutions. Steve Alanius is president of the McAllen Chamber of Commerce with our KURV crew, Roxanne Flores, Davis Rankin, second to I'm Sergio Sanchez. We're listening to KURV Special Edition, opening Texas, trying to do so safely. Follow-up question for you, Dr. James. Looking at the phases that we're in, best way to describe it, I guess we're at 2.5 now, with the governor saying we can open up water parks on Friday, and we got other businesses opening up 50% to restaurants. Do you think the state of Texas is doing it right, Dr. James?
There's no playbook for this. I think in Texas, we took action sooner than other states. I think we were lucky to get a warning so that we could take some action. But instead of the virus going away, it's kind of just stayed at like a simmer instead of hitting to a boil, like a boil over. We haven't had that in Texas, and I'm hoping we don't. So as we open up, I think it's going to be really important for everybody in the general public to continue to do their best with staying 6 feet apart. I still believe in using masks when you're going to be out in public like that, and definitely with the hand washing.
Davis, I know you had a question for Steve Lanius. Turn on your
I do, for Steve Lanius, who is the head of the McAllen Chamber of Commerce. Can you tell how bad the coronavirus damage has been to, I guess, your immediate membership, but also the people in that business class, whatever that is, who are not members? How bad is the damage?
Well, based off the two surveys we've conducted so far, Davis, we're seeing about 80% of the businesses have been impacted by COVID-19, whether it's reduction in hours, staffing, sales, business contracts, the whole gamut in terms of everybody's been impacted to some degree about the COVID-19. Beyond just a traditional, what you see in a recession that we saw in 2008, 2009, or what we saw in 2000, 2001 with the tech bubble bust. So this has been much different than anything we've experienced before. The depth of the impact is much wider and deeper than anything we've seen before.
What program, Steve, do you have? I know from the very beginning you've been doing Zoom conferences and other meetings, trying to get people to shift gears and go online and try to do an online product as well. Just give me a sample of what you have and what's coming, what's on the horizon.
Well, what's coming, and I'm glad you're going to have Mayor Darling on at 5 o'clock, but the city of McAllen is launching a zero interest loan program and a grant program. They're doing the zero interest loan program through lift funds, and they're doing the grant program through the chamber. And we're going to allow we have $300,000 that we're going to give, depending on the revenue size of a business, anywhere from $5,000 up to $10,000 in grants, which doesn't have to be repaid, to help those businesses reopen, whether it's buying personal protection equipment, whether it's sanitizing their facilities, if they have back rent or back mortgages they haven't paid, or if they're needing to replenish their inventory. It's a way for them to kind of jumpstart their business. And I think it just goes to McAllen's commitment to supporting small businesses. And I think nobody doubts anymore the impact that small businesses have on the local economy, and it's huge.
Go ahead, David.
In terms of the small businesses, this is not a political question necessarily. Does it penetrate the minds of the decision makers in Austin, but more importantly in Washington?
You know, our conversations we've had with the elected officials, I think they're very aware of what the impact is, but then you get into the national scope of politics that go on in Washington and to some extent in Austin. And then you get folks divided across the aisles about what to do or what not to do. And that really kind of goes to the main challenge that we've had here, is the key purpose as a state, and then also the unity of effort, because we're getting mixed messages from our elected officials. You know, some folks are wanting to open fast, and others are saying, no, we need to protect the health and safety of the public. And so I think the challenge is having a unified purpose and a unified effort in terms of what we need to see happen.
You're listening to KURV Special Edition. We're talking about opening Texas, and our panelists today, you heard right there, Steve Lanius, president of the McAllen Chamber of Commerce. We also heard from Dr. James Castillo. He's our Cameron County Health Authority. Mike Gonzalez is Workforce Solutions. We'll talk with him in a bit. And I'd like to bring in Joanne Gama. She is the new CEO for Idea Public Schools. Something that popped up today in news, Joanne, USA Today, Ipsos, 1 in 5 teachers in a recent poll reported today, they say they're not going back to the classroom if school opens up in the fall. But you talked about a nightmare scenario trying to find enough teachers for the fall, if that becomes true for us here in Texas. How are you guys doing at IDEA when it comes to retaining the retention of teachers, educators?
Yeah. Hi, Sergio. Thanks for having me on. We are actually this year expecting our best teacher retention. And, you know, that is there are less employees, less teachers, less folks who are wanting to explore other options, who are wanting to go to other districts, who are wanting to consider a second career, just given the job market right now. I'd like to say that they're all having a great, wonderful experience at IDEA Public Schools and are committed to IDEA and the mission, and I think that's a large part of it. But we also just know that folks who do have a job right now, folks who are getting paid and who are expecting to return to work are staying put and are staying at that job and are staying at that school in that classroom right now.
IDEA Public Schools, of course, birthed in the Rio Grande Valley, and we have public schools, charter schools all across South Texas. But now, IDEA Public Schools is national. It has campuses across Texas and also in other states. Tell me about the nightmare, the train wreck when during spring break, everything came to a halt, came to stop. You guys realized kids weren't going back to school. Nobody's going back to school. And you're going, oh, no, everybody needs computers, laptops, something. We need to teach these kids at home. Tell me what that was like for y'all.
Well, we were in a unique position here at IDEA Public Schools because we had some campuses that were already on spring break and then some campuses that were heading out for spring break. So needless to say, there are lots of folks who had to come in early and then some folks who never really quite took a spring break because it was all hands on deck. We had to your point, get ready to collect all of our technology and make sure it was repurposed so that we could give out to students. We were one of those few districts that prior to leaving for spring break, those that were had not already left for spring break, that Friday we told them that we were extending spring break. And at the time, we thought it would be an extension. We were also one of the few that really early said we were going to continue with distance learning for the remainder of the year. So right away, our staff at IDEA Public Schools, came in, collected technology, repurposed technology for kids and families. We gave out over 15,000 computers across the district, over 6,000 MiFis. We've served over 2 million meals. We had to take curriculum that was typically delivered, in the classroom and repurpose it so that it could be delivered at home, either through virtual learning or for around the 20% of families that weren't able to connect with the devices that we gave them. We mailed home packets with prepaid postage so that they could mail the packets back in when they were done and complete and get a new one. So I was really proud of our staff because they really, really rallied to make sure that kids and families didn't miss a beat, whether it was access to instructional materials or, food or equipment.
Yeah.
Our staff really rallied.
Likely a trial run for the fall. That is Joanne Gama, CEO, our new CEO at IDEA Public Schools. And our panelists today in this KURV special edition, Opening Texas, Steve Lanius from the McAllen Chamber of Commerce, Mike Gonzalez from Workforce Solutions, who we will hear from after the break. Also, Dr. James Castillo from the Cameron County Health Authority. We're talking about health, education, and workforce issues and businesses as well. Any questions, you're welcome to email me those, and I'll look at them real quick, see if we can contribute something to the conversation. My email, sergio@kurv.com, sergio@kurv.com. With unemployment in the valley, did you guys hear that? 17 to 18% unemployment now in the Rio Grande Valley. And businesses, well, some of them trying to open up 25, 50% capacity here and there. So are people sitting on the sidelines still getting the extra $600 per week before they go back to work? We'll talk about that next with Mike Gonzalez from Workforce Solutions. You're listening to News Talk 710 KURV. Esparza Pest Control represents CIMR technology, CIMR, that is continuous infectious microbial reduction technology. CIMR units, these devices clean the air in any and all size rooms. Alton Holt is the creator of this technology.
Well, CIMR is a technology that you can deploy both in a portable or inside your air conditioning system that allows us to go out and kill germs, viruses, bacteria, including mold and fungi, real time in the air and on surfaces. It's perfectly safe for people to breathe, and it works very, very well. We've been published for the CDC. We've been at Pittsburgh Medical Hospital for their kidney and heart transplant patients. See a huge reduction in the viruses there. We've been around for a long time, and we actually work right down in the valley, down at Harlan Baptist Mission Educational Center in Harlingen, Texas, as well as the camps in Laferia and the ones in Mission. So we've been down in the valley for a very long time.
Simmer technology, continuous infectious microbial reduction technology. It's 24/7, 365, continuous protection against mold, bacteria, allergens, and viruses in the air. It creates healthier indoor environments. It is absolutely safe to use in occupied areas. It is odorless, reduces mold, bacteria, and viruses in any and all types of rooms. For office settings, retail, restaurants, daycares, churches, nursing homes. Simmer technology, continuous infectious microbial reduction technology, cleans the air, will safely protect you, your staff, your family, your employees, your customers. Call Esparza Pest Control 316-0000. Just think of John 3:16, 316-0000, and ask about the air purification system, the Simmer technology that will kill mold, bacteria, and viruses. Call Esparza Pest Control 316-0000, 316-0000. Think of John 3:16, Esparza Pest Control with Simmer technology.
710 KURV is operated by our communications group.
Audio streaming on KURV.com. Powered by South Texas Buick GMC, McAllen Mission.
24 minutes after the hour, you are in tune with News Talk 710 KURV. Also, join us at Facebook Live. As all broadcasts on the drive home have been of late, they are all on Zoom. And today, in this special edition, we're talking about opening Texas. Our guest, Steve Elanius from the McAllen Chamber, Joanne Gama from Idea Public Schools, Dr. James Castillo from the Cameron County Health Authority, and Joanne Gama from Idea Public Schools, and Mike Gonzalez from Workforce Solutions. Let me pitch to Roxanne. She's got the next question.
Hi, Mike. It's so good to have you on again. I know the last time we spoke, you had a virtual job fair going on, but I wanted to ask you, are you seeing workers sitting on the sidelines, or do you see them rushing back?
I don't want to say that we're necessarily seeing people take advantage of the pandemic assistance. From what we've heard, it's just enough to get people by throughout these unprecedented times. The bills won't stop, and a one-time payment for most cases that we've, or at least that I've heard personally, it's enough just to pay the month's bills. And then from there, I think the concern and focus is shifted towards how can I secure employment? And I think that's the reason we're still seeing a good response with our job seekers as far as our virtual job fairs are going right now.
How was the last one that you guys had a few weeks back?
They've been growing every single job fair that we've had, thankfully. At the beginning, we've had 5 of these already so far. We didn't have the license for Zoom, so I believe we could only hold a maximum of 75 people. We've since then purchased a license, and we've seen a lot more people join in since then. We've already secured employment for over 100 job seekers here in the RGV with the series that we've had online so far, and we're really excited just to continue to be able to offer our services through this platform virtually, as opposed to the way that we used to do it before in person, which was a huge part of Workforce Solutions and our identity in the past. But of course, these problems are always arising every single day. And just because this is an unprecedented issue, it doesn't mean that there is not a solution. And that's what we're here to help.
Mike Gonzalez from Workforce Solutions. You're listening to a KURV special edition. We're talking about opening Texans. Go ahead, Davey.
What kind of skills are you seeing generally? Are they skill less other than a desire to work? How would you assess the quality of the applicants?
So I want to say that a lot of the applicants we've seen so far have been dislocated from their previous roles in the service industry. We know that a lot of restaurants, a lot of service type businesses had to close down. A lot of them weren't able to maintain their staff. So those folks who have seen their benefits come to an end are now put in a position where they have to come to workforce, and we're trying to help put them back in an adequate position that is able to bring them the quality of life that they were maintaining prior to the pandemic or better. I know in a lot of instances, we're encouraging job seekers to upskill. We have a list of target occupations on our website, and these are occupations wherein Workforce Solutions supports the training for these occupations with our own money so that the job seekers are basically getting tuition at no cost if they're eligible.
Mike Gonzalez with Workforce Solutions. Hey, it's Sergio again. For businesses and managers that tuned in right now and would like to participate in the next job fair, last conversation I had with you, you said you were having these weekly, these Zoom job fairs. You were having them weekly. What would you recommend that they do to hop aboard, get in line for the next job fair?
So I'll give the phone number first. I know there are some people who prefer not to go online. If you are interested in participating in any of these job fairs and you're an employer who is in need of recruitment assistance and you prefer to speak with a workforce rep over the phone, you can reach us at 956-687-1121. Otherwise, we have a very convenient chat feature that we recently started on our website in the midst of this pandemic to better connect with those in need. We have a chat feature on wfsolutions.org that allows employers or job seekers to connect with a Workforce Solutions representative directly. This is available Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. If you go on wfsolutions.org and simply type into the chat box, "Hi, I'm an employer. I have X amount of vacancies available within my company, and I'm interested in participating in the upcoming virtual job fair," we'll go ahead and get you situated.
Mike Gonzalez, he represents the Workforce Solutions office, Hidalgo County, Stark County, Willacy County. For our family tuned in, businesses that would like some assistance and try to find those employees and sop up some of those people that are looking for work. That's Cameron Works. That's a separate office. That's his compadre. I'm sure he can get you the contact information as well. We got Cameron County well represented today with Dr. James Castillo from the Cameron County Health Authority. We'll continue our conversation with our panelists, Dr. James Castillo, Joanne Gama, Mike Gonzalez, and Steve Alanius. Again, any questions? The good ones make it to the top. Make it on air. Sergio at KURV.com. You are listening to a KURV special edition. We're talking about opening Texas. A very big thank you to Esparza Pest Control and Lone Star National Bank. Going to pay bills for a couple of minutes and come back with more of this conversation, including a major national publication saying the Valley, specifically McAllen, the MSA, is bottom 10 when it comes to recovering from the coronavirus shutdown. Yeah, I see Steve Alanius. He's shaking his head. I know you don't want this. You're going to have to answer, Steve. I want to hear what Steve Alanius has to say about that. So we get the Chamber of Commerce spin on that, on why McAllen should not be at the bottom 10 of that. I'm not even going to mention that national publication. You're listening to News Talk 710 KURV.
Top and bottom of the hour news. This is News Talk 710 KURV.
4:31 on News Talk 710 KURV. Good afternoon. I'm Tim Sullivan. This news a service of Lone Star National Bank, bringing the bank to you in the Rio Grande Valley and San Antonio. The launch of a SpaceX rocket with 2 NASA astronauts on a history-making flight was called off. 16 minutes to go in the countdown because of the danger of lightning. Liftoff is rescheduled for Saturday. The spacecraft was to blast off this afternoon for the International Space Station, putting NASA back in the business of launching astronauts from the U.S. for the first time in nearly a decade. The mayor of Minneapolis has called for charges to be filed against the white police officer who pressed his knee into the neck of an unarmed, handcuffed black man during an arrest, causing him to stop breathing. Mayor Jacob Fry saying today the officer should be criminally charged in connection with Monday's death of George Floyd. Social media platforms are drawing the ire of President Trump. Trump today voiced his displeasure with Twitter as it fact-checked 2 of his tweets about the possibility of fraud in mail-in voting. Trump said conservative voices are silenced by social media and added he'll take action before that can be allowed to happen. The president used the Twitter platform to tweet his complaints. Tropical storm Bertha surprised the South Carolina coast, forming and making landfall within 2 hours, bringing a beach day of rain and gusty winds, but no major problems. Bertha, the second named storm before the official start of this year's Atlantic hurricane season. Larry Kramer, the playwright whose angry voice and pen raised theatergoers' consciousness about AIDS, has died. He was 84. Kramer founded the AIDS Coalition to Unleash Power, or ACT UP, and fought to secure medical treatment, acceptance, and civil rights for people with AIDS. And for the first time since forever, I guess, General Electric is no longer making light bulbs. GE has sold off its 129-year-old lighting division to Savant Systems. Wall Street today, the Dow Jones closed up 553 points. NASDAQ ended the day up 72. S&P 500 gained 44. Your 710 KURV exclusive AccuWeather forecast. Partly cloudy tonight. Lows in the mid-70s, sunny to partly cloudy, hot tomorrow, an Upper Valley high of 96. And right now, 92 at 710 KURV. News at the top and bottom of the hour, and when it breaks, and on demand at KURV.com. I'm Tim Sullivan, 710 KURV.
24/7, 365, continuous protection against viruses, mold, bacteria, and allergens. It is called CIMR, CIMR, continuous infectious microbial reduction technology. It is here. Alton Holt is the creator of this technology.
And where we were able to take the water molecule off of a hydrogen peroxide, which then made it very lethal for germs, viruses, and bacteria to kill it. And because we took the water molecule off, which was something different from everybody else, we were able to be self-regulating 50 times less than the OSHA limit. And that made us safe for people in the workplace and at their homes all day long. And so we never saw any reactions to it at all.
What's the biggest building that a CIMR or various CIMR units are cleaning up right now? Give me an idea.
We got buildings in excess of 100,000 square feet. We work with inside the air conditioning system.
Oh, I see.
And so that it's something that they never see, and you can't smell it. It just simply provides really clean air. It actually takes a little bit of relative humidity out of the air, and it converts it over to a hydrogen peroxide gas, and then it's injected into the airstream. So there's no chemicals that we're adding at any time. Goes into the airstream and then goes out and looks for germs, viruses, and bacteria to which it can oxidize and kill. That's it.
Independent university studies, field studies have illustrated that CIMR has been effective in neutralizing, obliterating H5N8 virus, MRSA, E. coli, Listeria, Streptococcus, Pseudomonas, noroviruses in the air and on surfaces in rooms. Call Esparza Pest Control 316-0000. Just think of John 3:16, 316-0000. Continuous infectious microbial reduction, the CIMR infection control technology. Call Esparza Pest Control 316-0000.
Big news? Not around here. It's real news. News Talk 710 KURV and KURV.com.
"36 minutes after the hour, you are in tune with News Talk 710 KURV. I'm Sergio Sanchez with the entire KURV News crew. You can join us online at 710 KURV Facebook Live. This is a KURV special edition. We're talking about opening Texas. I guess Dr. James Castillo from the Cameron County Health Authority, Joanne Gama from Idea Public Schools, Mike Gonzalez from Workforce Solutions, and Steve Alanius, president of the McAllen Chamber of Commerce. So, Steve, that national publication a few days back said McAllen, the MSA, bottom 10 when it comes to recovery in this coronavirus economy. What say you, Steve?
Well, I strongly disagree. I think, if you look at McAllen, it has, in terms of educational attainment, both high school and college, the numbers are higher than the average. You look at the per capita and household incomes, higher than what you see in a lot of other places. And so I was disappointed, and I understand with some of the elements that they were looking at, but I disagreed with the data points that they were using to draw those conclusions. I do think one of the big challenges we have, and we saw it last week when the Secretary of Homeland Security, Wolf, extended the lockdown with Canada and Mexico. And obviously that's going to have an impact on businesses that count on the Mexican nationals coming and spending money here. But beyond that, we've seen a very resilient economy in terms of people keeping their employees and then also trying to move forward and find new ways. And a lot of anecdotal success stories about people pivoting, selling online, coming up with new business models that allow them to keep operating. And I think that is probably the biggest takeaway, is that we have a very resilient mindset and DNA that can deal with adversity, that can operate with little or no resources and make something out of nothing. And I think that's our biggest strength and attribute. And I have complete confidence that you're going to see not only McAllen's economy, but the entire RGV economy roaring back once we get to whatever the new normal is going to be.
Are we at a bit of a disadvantage because, well, international, they call it non-essential touristy type of travel between U.S. and Mexico, U.S. Canada, that is shut down until June 22nd. And those big buses ain't coming over here to buy all the stuff from the next door.
Sergio, you and I have talked about this before. It's a double-edged sword with Mexico. There's times when it is a huge advantage. And we saw that during the last recession. If you recall, McAllen and McAllen MSA was ranked as one of the areas that had the least dip in economic activity and recovered very quickly. And part of that was driven by Mexico. And the same is holding true today without that Mexican national coming. That's going to have an impact. But as soon as that becomes open again, I think you're going to see a lot of things happen in a very positive direction.
Let me go to Roxanne Flores. I know, Roxy, you had a question. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, my mic keeps messing up. I wanted to ask you real quickly, Ms. Lanius, I know that we talked about businesses being impacted by COVID-19, during these past 2 months. Are there any changes that businesses had to make during the pandemic that they plan to keep permanent once this is all over?
Well, I think obviously the big takeaway was having different business models. For example, being able to sell online or being able to do curbside. I think businesses recognize that there's going to be new ways and better ways of doing business, and you're seeing businesses implementing that right now. And so part of that grant program that we're offering for McAllen businesses, if they're wanting to convert and set up a platform to sell online, this grant money can be used to help them make that conversion. I think as we move forward, I think there's lots of lessons to learn. I think businesses are going to learn those lessons and are going to position themselves for the next time. Hopefully it's not 15 or 20 years from now. The next time we have something like this, they'll be in a better position to be able to still keep making money, still be able to deal with their customers, and position themselves that there's cash flowing into the business as opposed to everything coming to a screeching halt.
Out of all the businesses impacted by COVID-19, I know you can only speak for those in McAllen. What's the percentage of businesses that just might close their doors permanently because of what's happening?
Wow.
Our latest survey shows about 15-16% think that they may not make it to the next month, and that's a fairly high number. And we'll conduct another survey in probably 2 or 3 weeks, and that I suspect that number may inch up a little bit higher than the 15%. But that is I think that's a fairly stable number. If you look at what the U.S. Chamber put out, they were predicting 25% of businesses not surviving this and ceasing operations. So I'm optimistic. If we're hovering right around the 15%, that's a positive.
You're listening to a KURV special edition. We're talking about opening Texas. We're covering workforce, businesses, education, of course, speaking with the health authority as well. Davis, go ahead.
With Mexico front and center for us for a lot of reasons, What's the circumstance in Mexico as you understand it? And since you're from Cameron County, across the rivers, Los Indios, but particularly Matamoros, where are they in terms of the Corona roller coaster ride? Are they blending or giving Cameron County any problems at this point?
That question for Dr. James, medical question.
I've been communicating with some of the physicians and leaders over there, looking at their numbers. I think, it's about the testing. I know that they're at least a few weeks behind us, but I was encouraged to see the kind of measures they put in place to try to slow the spread. They seem to have a lot of a different infrastructure than we do, especially when it comes to things like nursing homes, which they don't typically have over there like we do over here. But I think it's going to be difficult to tell exactly how big the issue they have is, again, with the issue with testing.
Is that because their testing system is simply unreliable?
It's just more about infrastructure. I mean, we have that issue too, about developing the right tests, getting the swabs and running it in the labs. I think everybody's trying to scale up what they're able to do. But I haven't seen the latest numbers on how they're going over there.
You're listening to a KURV special edition Opening Texas, and we have local leaders in education, business, and health joining us. Steve Alanius from the Chamber of McAllen, Mike Gonzalez, Workforce Solutions, Joanne Gumman from Idea Public Schools, and Dr. James Castile from Cameron County Health Authority. Go ahead, Roxanne.
I wanted to ask Joanne a question. I know that a lot has to change, or a lot has changed because of COVID-19. But what might your fall semester look like on campus? Might there be like half online and half on the campus? What's that going to look like in the fall?
Yeah, that is one of the things that we are trying to figure out right now, Roxanne. We have let parents know that we expect to start school on August 10th, which is the date in which we have published that we're going to start. So we're sticking to that day. I think that since the governor has announced that you could hold in-person summer school, we expect that we'll be able to hold classes in person in the fall. Obviously, desks are going to have to be 6 feet apart. You're going to have fewer kids per classroom. I think families could expect that kids will go to school, go to a classroom, and stay in that classroom. Mm-hmm. There won't be, going to the cafeteria for breakfast or for lunch. There won't be going to the gymnasium for PE. I think you're going to have to, control kids and a teacher in a classroom. I think kids can expect to wear masks. Teachers can expect to wear masks. People have talked about A days and B days, so or morning sessions and afternoon sessions, because obviously if our classrooms are holding 28 kids at a time at IDEA and we can only have less than half of that, it's going to be really hard to fit all of our kids in our schools at the same time. So I think those are some things that families can expect come fall, although we haven't communicated them yet as fact.
Davis, go ahead.
I have a follow-up for you, Joanne. Are what you're talking about, these decisions to be made, are they the exclusive purview of the various schools? Yours is a charter school. Would it be the same for charter schools as it is for, regular schools? And do you have to do what the state tells you, or are you on your own?
There are lots of recommendations that are coming out right now from the Texas Education Agency. The commissioner is meeting with superintendents twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. He's sharing this advice. There are CDC guidelines that are coming out. So I think whether you're a charter school, a private school, or a traditional ISD, we're all looking at the same recommendations right now. I think different districts and schools will make different decisions around calendaring, around school start time and end time, whether they do half days or A and B days. But I think a lot of the guidelines around, 6 feet, practicing social distancing, wearing masks, additional hand washing stations, I think all of that is going to look very consistent school to school, because those are the recommendations that they're putting out, and everybody wants to ensure their kids and families and teachers are safe.
I know you mentioned, sorry.
Go ahead, Roxanne.
Well,
ask
I
the
just
question.
say, I know Joanne mentioned that August 10th is the date that you guys are aiming to start this, school this fall. Have you had already any complaints or calls from parents saying that they don't want their kids to be enrolled anymore because of what's happening?
Well, yes, actually, I host a parent town hall on Facebook every Wednesday before school let out. And our very last call, IDEA's last day of school was May 22nd. So on the 20th, on that Wednesday parent town hall, we did a poll and I said, given that we can have in-person summer school, we're doing distance learning for summer school. I expect that we're going to have in-person schooling in the fall. Today, how do you feel about sending your child to school on August 10th? Are you going to send them? And 65% of the parents who took the poll said at this point in time, they don't feel safe sending their kids to school.
Wow.
And there's a lot of time between now and August 10th, obviously, but I think it's very telling. Families are worried about their kids. Some of them are asking, is it going to be optional? Can we choose to send them? Can we choose to keep them home? And so, we're waiting on guidance from the state in terms of, compulsory attendance being optional or not.
That is
In which
Joanne
case it
Gama
wouldn't be
from Ideal Public
compulsory.
Schools.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right.
You're listening to a KURV special edition opening Texas. Let me go to Mike Gonzalez from Workforce Solutions. Talking about education, I'm thinking the little ones, elementary school, those little ones, they need to go to school. And I don't know about AB days, Joanne, because A day, mom still needs to go to work. B day, the kid's at home. And, you need daycare. It really gums the works of society. Mike, with parents, some of them might have to make that decision, take care of their kids full time and take care of AB days or maybe homeschool. I don't know where we're going with this. We'll see what happens in the fall. One thing we know for sure is there are a lot of openings, a lot of jobs out there. And it seems that we have some businesses at 25%, 50%. And with all these people unemployed, we might have more workers than jobs right now. I was hoping you could provide me provide the folks that are listening, they're unemployed, maybe some advice as they take advantage of some of your job fairs in order to make it quick and see if they can sop up one of those jobs of companies that are up at 25%, 50%, and so on and so forth.
All right, Sergio. So just the way that you've mentioned, we've seen a lot of people lose their jobs. And right now we're seeing a lot of businesses opening and operating with 25, 50% capacity. And oftentimes that makes you think, well, they're going to have half than what they would normally need in their workforce. I know in some cases with the larger businesses, we're seeing them take shifts with their staff. Whereas, if they're going to be operating at 50% capacity, they'll work a schedule around to get everyone under their payroll in there to at least get some hours. But with those smaller ones, if you're finding yourself as a job seeker that's been affected to the point where your employer, no longer has the means to support keeping you employed, well then, you're put in a position, especially if you're a parent, where you have to decide, well, who's going to watch the kids and how are we going to get the bills paid? Well, if you're having trouble securing employment and childcare is a concern as well, I want to encourage you once again to come to Workforce Solutions. Visit us online and chat with one of our reps online. Once we help you secure employment, a good next step is to help you secure childcare services. Childcare payment services are available to job seekers who are currently employed and have children who are in need of childcare services. If your kids are out of a childcare daycare due to the pandemic and you need to find somewhere to help you watch them, we can assist you with that. And if you're eligible, we can assist you with paying for that as well. So once again, if you're a job seeker that feels that you're kind of up against the wall, you no longer have an idea how you're going to be able to afford those childcare services that you desperately need in order to put yourself out there to begin with, once again, Workforce Solutions is here to provide assistance for you guys. We're here to provide solutions, and childcare services is definitely something that we're able to help with. At this point in time, the state, we no longer have childcare services strictly for essential workers. we've opened up the wait list again. So if you are interested in this service, I would implore you all to consider going online at wfsolutions.org and filling out the contact form on our childcare page. That way you could be put in touch with a childcare specialist who can give you the most up-to-date information on our childcare services and the status of the wait list if there is one.
It is 8 minutes to the hour. Thank you much for joining us on News Talk 710 KURV. This is a KURV special edition. We're talking about opening Texas. So we're going to pay bills here for a couple of minutes and coming back. The final thoughts from our participants or panelists. We have a lot to talk about. More than likely, the next special edition in a few weeks might be more education based as that idea, that strategy will gel as we get closer to the fall. So we hope you can join us for that conversation. A big thank you to Steve Elanius from the Chamber, Mike Gonzalez from Workforce Solutions, Joanne Gama from Idea Public Schools, Dr. James Castillo. I'm Sergio Sanchez with the 710 KURV News Crew. Simmer units, these devices clean the air in any and all size rooms. Esparza Pest Control represents Simmer Technology, CIMR. Continuous infectious microbial reduction technology. Alton Holt is creator of Simmer Technology.
Really depends on how dirty the house is. Sometimes we're called in during floods and remediation to where we have homes that are 2,000 square feet above, and they're full of water. And so we're able to stabilize the house full of water and within 24 hours. And so what that really means for us is that we're not going to be growing mold, viruses, or bacteria. But inside of a room, we have studies that show if the simmer is applied correctly, within 30 minutes to an hour, you get a 4 to 5 log kill of many germs and viruses.
Explain that for me.
And that means when I say 4 to 5 log kill, that simply means each log represents a 9. So 2 log would be 99% kill. A 4 log would be 99.99% kill. And a 5 log would be 99.999% kill. And that would be absolutely...
That's more than optimum. That's almost perfect. Yeah, that's good.
That is correct.
That is real good. Okay.
And the simmer units come in various sizes. It can be as small as something that is the size of a credit card and all the way to something that's the size of like an old desktop unit. It's something that's about 24 by 24 by, 9 inches wide. That portable unit would be good up to like 16,000 square feet.
This technology is now approaching almost 2 decades of use in various settings. The government has used it, medical institutions, and now you can use it at your business, at your clinic, at your office, at your church, at your daycare, at your nursing home. Call Esparza Pest Control 316-0000, 316-0000. Think of John 3:16. Esparza Pest Control with Simmer Technology, the Simmer technology that will kill mold, bacteria, and viruses. 316-0000. Call Esparza Pest Control, 316-0000.
Your home for Fox News Radio and Rush Limbaugh. News Talk 710 KURV.
5 minutes to the hour. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 710 KURV. Post your comments at 710 KURV Facebook Live. I'm Sergio Sanchez with the KURV crew. And a very big thank you to our panelists today. Steve Elanius from the Chamber, Mike Gonzalez from Workforce Solutions, Joanne Gama from Idea Public Schools, and Dr. James Castillo from Cameron County Health. I've just got maybe a couple of minutes. Dr. James, I'm going to close this conversation with you because elective surgery and other procedures, I know that many hospitals and medical institutions, they took it on the chin because they weren't conducting any of this business. 6 weeks, 8 weeks, it's a long time. And some folks are apprehensive to go back. Have you noticed on the front lines of medicine, Cameron County, the last place we need in the RGV is to reduce medical care. Have you noticed maybe some institutions throttling back as far as workforce at hospitals, at clinics because of the economic slowdown in medicine?
I think a lot of the hospitals and clinics, when the elective procedures were down and people even stopped seeking essential medical care for things like heart attacks, and people were ignoring some pretty big warning signs. I think that definitely forced a lot of doctors' offices and hospitals to scale back and stop hiring and even do some furloughs. But I think that now the hospitals are getting busier with our routine type of care. A lot of elective procedures are coming back. I think patients are seeking care more in the emergency department. Definitely the hospitals are getting busier with our normal kind of care. And I see that business definitely coming back.
Yeah, shocking headline for Texas. Scott White, 1,500 people let go over the past several days. Steve, I'm going to close with you. I'm going to give you about 15 seconds. Give me the phone number or website for that business finance loan grant the chamber is producing. I think Mayor Darling is joining us in the next hour to talk a bit more about that. Go ahead, Steve.
Thanks. Go to the chamber website. You'll see grants.org. That website goes live. That part goes live Monday at 9 o'clock. That's when we'll start taking applications. And so McAllen businesses, if you're interested, get your information together and apply on Monday.
Yeah, good thing you're doing it online. Otherwise, you had people popping up tents outside the chamber waiting to get in. First one in line. Guys, thank you. Thank you so much. Joanne, we might call you come back to talk about education in a few weeks. Thank you so much for joining us today. Joanne Gama from Idea Public Schools, Dr. James Castillo from Cameron County Health, Mike Gonzalez, Workforce Solutions, Steve Elanius from the McAllen Chamber of Commerce. I'm Sergio Sanchez. This is a KURV special edition, opening Texas on 710 KURV. And I want to say thanks to the folks that provide Simmer Technology in the Rio Grande Valley. This is not new. This is not something that just showed up overnight. This continuous infectious microbial reduction technology, man, it's going on 20 years. And as you heard the creator of this technology earlier mention some hospitals and other institutions they've been working with the government. This hospital grade air Simmer unit is now available at our friends at Esparza Pest Control. And you should call Adrian and his crew today, because if you want to kill viruses, kill mold, kill bacteria, reduce all this nasty stuff at your movie theater, at your restaurant, at your school, at your daycare, at your church, any and all buildings. We have one that's running here at KURV, and we're blessed to have it because we know that it's zapping and killing any virus, mold, and bacteria. It's proven technology, going on almost 20 years. Look into it. It's been effective in the past, killing H5N8 viruses, MRSA, E. coli, Listeria, Streptococcus, Pseudomonas, and the list goes on and on and on. There's one good way to keep yourself, your crew, your clientele safe, your students safe. It is the Simmer technology at Esparza Pest Control, 316-0000. The drive home next on KURV.
History is unfolding, and you're listening to it on News Talk 710 KURV.